What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jeremy Speaks, and I'm coming at y'all again today with another video. I ain't gonna even hold you. You wanna know what, y'all? This episode was really good, I ain't gonna lie. This episode was really good. I enjoyed it. I definitely did. Angela definitely carried. Definitely so. We have a lot to discuss, y'all. Okay? We have a lot to discuss. All right. But first and foremost, let me do the introduction. Hey, everybody, it's your boy Jeremy Speaks, and I'm here today with you with another video. This video is none other than my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 17, the finale. And it was jam-packed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know who telling lies. I can't tell. It's hard for me to piece all of this together, which is why the main title of this is Who's Telling the Truth? Because who is telling the truth at the end of the day? Like, who's doing that? All right. But, you know, we're going to let some people, we're going to give the girls a second to make their way in here. And, like, you know, I'll chit-chat up, you know, with y'all for a couple minutes real quick, okay? Now listen. Oh, girl. Now listen, y'all. Love and Marriage Huntsville is about to come back, okay? And I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for that because, like, y'all know, Love and Marriage Huntsville really drains me. But I think because Melody won't be on this show anymore, is going to make it a little bit more easier for me to digest, rather than, you know, everybody is gaslighting this woman about the about the stuff that she went through with this man. But yeah, so that is on the horizon. So I hope you guys are preparing yourselves mentally. And if you don't watch the show, that's fine. You ain't got to watch the show, okay? That's why I'm here. I watch it for you so you don't have to watch. Michael, get away from the door. Child, like, so yeah, y'all don't have to, you know, y'all don't have to worry about that. I'm going to be covering this. And if it is boring, I'm going to make sure it's entertaining enough for me to recap. You know, I always can add a little bit of chuckle into it and such like that. But y'all listen, outside of that though, y'all, I have not had a good week, you know? I've not had the best of weeks, you know, lately. I really want to move out of the state that I'm in, and I want to move somewhere else. There's a couple places that I have in mind, and I already started making preparations, you know, as far as like saving, you know, to move and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just ready to leave this area. I got stationed here in 2014 and I've been here ever since. So it's been like 11 years now. And like, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to go. Like my mental is starting to deteriorate again. My week back, my mom in the hospital. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, prayers and recoveries for your mom. I hope they don't carry on about the Scots. I don't think none of us wants that. I don't think anybody wants to think about the big back Scots putting a man breast on some woman's chin. Like, don't nobody want to think about that. Okay? Don't nobody want to think about that. Well, y'all, all right, it's been 5 minutes, so let's get started. Y'all put a one in the chat if you are ready, please. Put a one in the chat if you're ready. All right, I took notes, not as many as I did the last episode. I feel like it's a good balance. I'm trying to figure out how to take notes for this show in the best way. All right, so I see 2 ones. Can I get 3? Can I get, okay, I see 4 ones. Can I get 5? Also, y'all, please make sure you're that you have subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like the video. And if you're feeling generous and if you want to drop a bag on a bit, then the Cash App is in the description of my name below. Okay. So let's get started. All right. All right, cool. So the episode picks up where the last one left off, right? And we are at Phaedra house. Portia and her sister, I forgot what her sister name is, but they make their way over there, right? So needless to say, she is discussing the loss of her cousin Londi and how that's affected the family, how they're all trying to get through it because Londi was a light. Everybody loved Londi. She was so giving. She was so nice. She was so sweet. And by the end of this conversation, Phaedra is asked to set the arrangements for the funeral. And I was like, wow, that is very intimate for you to ask her to do that. I'm not saying that that she shouldn't, but I don't know, it's just weird because the way that Phaedra was talking about it in the confessional was like she was not taking it seriously at all. She was saying stuff along the lines of she is the head of the usher board of heaven, and if you want to get into heaven, you're gonna have to see her first. And I was like, what? Why on earth would you ever say that? So are you trying to say that if Londi didn't have her funeral arrangement, done by you, then she wouldn't be seeing the gates of heaven? It's just weird. I just didn't like it. And then when Portia was bringing up the pastor that, Phaedra had introduced her to, the first thing that Phaedra says is oh, he's so cute, ain't he? I was like, girl, what? We are talking about the loss of somebody here. Why nobody give a damn if the pastor is cute or not? What is wrong with you? Something is wrong with Phaedra, y'all. Something is wrong with Phaedra. I don't know. It's something is off about her. And I don't know where this came from or how this has begun, but she's really disgusting. She's not a good person. She's really not. And she has been saying a whole bunch of weird stuff, throughout this time period, if I must say so myself. But let's move on. So Angela goes to meet her therapist. Her therapist, I think, is a nice little white lady named Wendy or something like that. But she be wearing crystals and shit. So, she peaceful. She's about her peace. Okay, so Angela gets into the nitty gritty about what's going on in her life, y'all. So Angela tells us that, she is currently dealing with a whole lot of pressure, a whole lot of stress, financial and emotional, dealing with the houses that she bought. And one thing I do appreciate about Angela is that she does not shy away from telling the truth that she's dealing with at the moment, because a lot of people would try to only show the positive aspects of business. They don't want to show the failure, at least on television. And we have this woman here who's married to an NBA player who went and did this business venture trying to flip homes and things like that, and it just didn't go the way that she wanted. She lets us know that she's in arrears on all of the properties that she's owning. She says that she's tried to get them sold, but they have to sell them for less. She says that, and she also asked Charles to continue to pour money into these homes, and he doesn't want to do it anymore because I guess they've been putting money into the homes for about 3 to 4 years, and there's nothing that they've gotten back yet. So he's not going to keep on pouring money into it. So now they've sold the homes underneath the value that they bought it for. So they took a net loss, and then they had to foreclose 3 other properties. 2 of them sold underneath the initial buy price for the homes, and then like I said, the 3 others are foreclosed. Right. So she's saying that all of that weight is just on her. And she feels bad because she has disappointed Charles, because she wanted to do this, but Charles told her that this is probably not a good idea, and she still wanted to go forward with it. And then after all of that is said and done, now she feels bad because Charles already told her that she shouldn't have did it. But now she's done it, and she's lost like a good $2.8 million that they're never going to get back. And the therapist asks Angela, so what have you learned from this? Angela tells the therapist that she learned to trust her husband because her husband wanted to put her on the right path anyway, and she chose not to listen to him, and she learned that she needed to trust him. She then goes into talking about the stuff that happened with the weird, dude that approached her at Kelly's event, right? So she goes on to say, and a few weeks ago, I was at an event for one of my girlfriends, and a random man had walked up to me and tried to tell me that they had some information on my husband, right? So she explains that when they were doing a toast, the man said, toast if your name is Angela and your husband is cheating on you, child. The therapist like, dang, that's tough. I was like, my God. But you want to know something? I sometimes have a hard time believing Angela when it comes to certain things, because I feel that Angela's recollection is not always, accurate from what I can see. I don't know if I believe that Charles is meeting with this woman regularly. I don't believe that this man is getting life advice from this woman. I don't believe that Charles is getting therapy from this lady. Now, maybe couples therapy, maybe that, but I just don't believe that Charles is walking into this woman's home getting therapy from her. Like, I don't even think that Charles really respects what women think anyway. Like, Charles gives me a good old school misogynist. Like, I just don't believe that. So with that being said, it's kind of hard for me to take in what Angela is saying as far as like them all using this woman, but she basically goes into telling her how she ended up telling Charles what happened, right? Charles says that that's some BS, and like, do you believe me? And I'm like, I wonder how Charles said that. How y'all think Charles said that? I think it probably went a little something like this, like, that ain't true, bitch. You believe that shit, bitch? You don't trust me, bitch? I believe that's kind of how Charles said it. I believe that Charles probably was giving like, I told you ain't true, bitch. Don't you bring me no tea, bitch. I don't know no other hoes in Atlanta, bitch. Trust me, bitch. I believe that that's something that Charles probably said to her. I don't believe that Charles was like, baby, that's a lie. You don't trust me? I don't believe that Charles be speaking like that. I just don't. I just don't. So the therapist asks Angela, well, like, do you trust him? She's like, yeah. And she said, but did you tell him that? And Angela was saying like, yes, I did tell him that. She was like, good. And now I believe that this is Angela's therapist. I just don't believe that this is also Charles' therapist, if that makes any sense. I don't believe that Charles is doing therapy, because in the first few episodes, he was talking about he don't need no therapy. So I don't know, Angela, but I really do love Angela's transparency. I do believe in regards to her husband and the way that he treats her and the way that he speaks to her, that it can come across a little bit delusional. I believe it can come across a little bit delusional, but at the end of the day, outside of all of that, outside of the husband and stuff like that, I really do feel like Angela be on point with the things that she recalls. But this was, this was completely different. The therapist was giving me SAG-AFTRA member. Why do y'all feel like the therapist wasn't real? I don't think he calls Angela out of her name in their home, but I do think he speaks in the same firm way that he was speaking at the event. I don't necessarily think he calls her out of her name either. To me, it's just parodies. If you watch the initial review that I did when I first covered Charles, I was saying that like he talks to her like real rough. And it reminded me of the dude that was talking to the woman in that Tyler Perry movie, when he says ashtray bitch. And it just snowballed from there. Now this is the voice of Charles, no matter what it is. So this is Charles' voice. I'm sorry. I like this. These are Charles' words from Jeremy's mind. Okay. She's from Chi-Town. She's used to rough. I mean, I get that, but to me, it really do be feeling like he hurts her feelings. I mean, just because you from an area that may be rough don't mean that you want your man to talk to you crazy. So like, yeah, like I don't know. Like just because you from Chicago, like just for example, just because I'm from Brooklyn, I'm not really from Brooklyn. I'm just giving an example here. I'm just saying if I'm from Brooklyn, that don't mean that I want my my significant partner to be talking to me like a hood nigga from Brooklyn. I would prefer them talk to me tenderly, talk to me kindly, talk to me with love, softness, patience. Don't be getting buck with me, and it's not to say that Charles gets buck with Angela like he's physically intimidating her or anything else like that. It's just that he says things that eats away at her self-esteem. Like he says, like he critiques her at every word that she says. Like he picks her apart. And that's where the irritation comes in. I don't necessarily think that Charles is like screaming on Angela. It's not giving that, but I believe that he probably tears her self-esteem down quite often. And it's probably something that she's had to learn how to cope with. Like I remember one time I dated somebody, and y'all, it was an older dude. It was an older guy. And I think at this time I was like 27, 26. And the dude had to be 49, 50. And it's like, no matter what I said, no matter what I did, he found a way to like get argumentative with me and tell me how I'm wrong in my viewpoints, how I'm wrong in my thinking, and what that did over time. And because we had dated for about a month and a half, like what that did over time was like make me get real timid talking to him, to where I just allowed him just to say whatever he needed to say. And I didn't really say much because I didn't want to like start an argument. And it reminds me a lot about that. He reminds me so much of that guy. Child, by the end of that month, I was done. I was like, child, I'm blocking him. It was over. I was like, girl, don't nobody got no time for you to always be walking on the side of a fence. So good luck to you. So like, yeah, that's what I see when I look at Angela and Charles, to be honest. And I feel like probably I should say that more firmly, because we don't know when people come in what what they're thinking about my reviews and stuff like that. But I just want to be clear, like that's how I hear Charles in my head based on the words that he says to Angela. If Angela and Charles has a therapist, he wouldn't be put out there like that. He therapist license might be on the line. Their dynamic is so mother-child than husband and wife. You mean father? You mean father-daughter? Not mother-child. Black men of a particular generation act like that, and that's not okay. You know, it's not cool. Just because y'all were doing that back in whatever, don't mean that that's how y'all need to treat people now. You know, like I don't agree with that. I don't believe that we should normalize verbal and mental abuse because that's how they been. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, bitch, change. Well, change is 2025. You can always become a better person. You can always challenge yourself to be better. You don't have to be an asshole. You choose to be. Like who want to be windmilling in a whole relationship? Like I don't. Like who want to wake up and argue with the person that they like, and then like how does that even work with sex? Y'all listen, if you piss me off in a relationship, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm not gonna yell, I'm not gonna cuss. I'm real quick to hit the silent treatment. Don't touch me, don't talk to me, please. I can't even imagine laying down after my man tried to embarrass me on national syndicated television and not tell people that he loved me. Bitch, don't you ever in your life touch me in this bed. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Charles was not around doing no damn Jim Crow. Charles was not around doing what? Charles is not like 80 or 90 years old. Like that's not his age. He was not around during Jim Crow era. Wait, give me a sec. I gotta see what like Jim Crow era years. From 1877 to the mid 1960s. Like that, like Charles was like, no. Now if we talking about like let's say Cicely Tyson. Now that's like, that's Jim Crow. Maybe, maybe the lady that was on 227 that's still alive, like that's giving Jim Crow. Like Betty White, that was like a Jim Crow era type of person. Like they're the ones who grew up in Jim Crow. Like Charles did not grow up in that. Charles probably grew up in the 70s, 80s, well, maybe the 70s and the 80s, and then played basketball late 80s, 90s. Like it's not given. Do we know Charles' birthday? Let me look it up. Charles Oakley birthday. He was born in 1963. He's only 61. My mama was born in 1968. She wasn't born in no damn Jim Crow. Damn, he younger than my mama. Y'all, he younger than Mama Speaks. Well, no, he's not. He's older than Mama Speaks. I got the years switched up. Like, but nah, he about 5 years older than my mama. Ain't no way. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Damn, my mom was born in 1964. Like I'm saying, like Charles do look significantly older, but like, yeah, it's no excuse. It's no excuse for that because there's plenty of men that are in their 60s that talk to their wives more kindly than Charles does. It's like, it's no excuse for that. My daddy was born in 1953 and doesn't treat my mom like that. Why do people keep making excuses for Charles' inexcusable behavior? He's wrong. Angela takes it because she's glad someone married her. She thinks it's a flex. Charles and Angela, I don't think Charles is lying about his age. And Angela's not lying about her age. They already, like, they showed her passport, her driver's license, like she's 44. But let's move on, y'all. We're getting sidetracked here, and it's already 10 o'clock. All right, so next thing we are at Shamia's. Was this supposed to be like a showcase, a miniature concert? Like, what's going on here? I was a little bit confused. So we see her practicing, and she's, waiting on your t-shirt on, sitting back and relax. Baby, you know I'ma handle all of that. You know, she's doing all of that. I was like, my God. Somebody please save us from these Shamia songs. I don't like it. I don't like these songs, y'all. I don't see it. Like even her songs make me cringe. So Shamia says in the confessional that she is making her own opportunities and she don't have to wait on nobody to give her one. I was like, was that shade? Was that shade? Was that shade to Portia because you were saying that you were waiting on her to get, like, were you waiting on Portia to give you an opportunity? Or are you saying that people were saying that you were waiting on Portia to give you an opportunity? Or is it that Portia never gave you that opportunity and now you saying you giving it to yourself so you don't have to wait on nobody? I was really confused by that line. Like that kind of sounded like a dig to me, but I couldn't really tell who the dig would be for. But it aligns with her and Portia's dynamic, and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting that you said that. But Drew is in the confessionals telling us that she's here at the event to see if Shamia's mic is really on. Right now, Kelly and Britt make their way there. Kelly is still ignoring Britt. Britt is saying, I'm here. And I'm just gonna try to make sure I have a good time. Kelly is once again telling us all of the times that she was there for Britt. I was there for Britt. I was here for Britt, and Britt was not there for me. I was here for Britt, and Britt was not there for me. Oh my God! Okay, we get it. We get it. It's been like this since the end of Grenada. We are over it. Like we get it. You don't have to announce to us, Kelly, that you were not talking to Britt. We got it. We got it. You don't have to give us an announcement that you were ignoring her. I felt that probably would be the case after you exposed her for allegedly being a pill popper and she exposed you for allegedly having multiple, abortions in the marriage. Like, so we weren't expecting y'all to have conversation. But I just believe if you feel that you are going to ignore somebody and pay them, then just do that. Like to talk about somebody after you said that you was going to pay it lets me know that you're still bothered. Okay. And to be honest, y'all, I really don't know. It to me don't really seem that Britt is that bothered. And maybe that just proves how terrible Britt is as a person. But Britt don't really seem that affected by any of this. She don't seem affected at all. She is walking around comfortably. Britt is really the villain here. And Britt, I'm going to definitely have to get in your ass during this review. Because my God, how dare you? But let's continue, child. Let's make our way through this. So, like, Shamia sings the first song. Baby. Maybe we just need to lower it in an octave. Or maybe we need to practice a bit more. Shamia couldn't hit the notes, y'all. After the performance. And another thing is like, I don't know if you're going to do choreography, right? It doesn't make sense to do the choreography if you just have like this long coat. Why are you in the kitchen, Michael? Get out of the kitchen. Like, it doesn't make sense for you to like do choreography with like this long coat thing on because nobody can see the movements that your body is making. But after Shamia made her way off of the stage, she was like, we really got to do good with this next song because, I didn't feel like I really did that well with this song. I was a little bit off vocally, but I'm going to bounce back. Child, Drew is in the confessional. Drew's in the confessional saying, okay, it's giving that maybe the mics need to be turned down just a little bit. Like the mics is on, but maybe we just need to turn down the volume a tad bit. Maybe she needed to practice this a little bit more. But needless to say, Shamia gets on stage and then she performs the next song and she plays the piano. I was like, oh, I didn't even know Shamia could play the piano. See, Shamia, this is what we need to see. This is what we need to see. Instead of you always having Drew's name in your mouth. But like, it sounded pretty good. It sounded decent. you can tell that Shamea is nervous when it comes to performance. And I feel that unless you're doing it very, very, very often, either in church or, privately, whatever the case may be, you're going to have nerves. You're going to have like a lot of vocal issues when you're performing live because it's not something that you do on a regular basis. Like, I believe the saying is, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So if you don't use the voice like that and sing very often, sing a whole bunch of songs live to people, then when you do it for the first time, it may be a little bit shady, maybe a little bit shysty, so. But overall, I think that Drew did a really good job. Her daughter came out and, told them that her mama sings the song in the shower. I thought that was really cute. Thought it was a very sweet scene. And honestly, I thought it was a beautiful show overall. Was very, very much given like a concert. She had outfit changes. She had performance. She had a choreographer. She had dancers. I was like, is she going on tour? Like, I was like, is this like a showcase? Is this like for us to see what it would be like for us to go to a Shamea tour? Are we like, what is this? It was beautiful, but I was like, what's the purpose? IDK, why Shamea seems nervous. She has performed live before. She used to be in a group. I mean, like, because it probably was a long time before that happened, because she said that she used to be in a group with Carrie Hilson, and Carrie Hilson was a solo artist when I was in like high school, middle school. So it had to be even before that. So we're talking before like 2009, 2008. It couldn't have been any time like recently she was in a group, because like I said, Carrie Hilson came out as a solo artist. When I had to be like, 14, 15 maybe. Was Portia there? No, Portia was not there. But Shamea did say that she can understand why Portia wasn't there, because she's currently battling the grief of losing her cousin. But she says that she's still going to give Portia that love, and try to be there for her regardless. So it wasn't no drama with Portia not being there. I think it was understood. But to be honest, I don't think Portia would have been there even if Lundy was alive. I don't believe that Portia was going to be there. I just don't. I don't believe that Portia would have made it to that event regardless. But I feel like this was a good excuse. But let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. So Shamea, after everything is complete, Shamea pulls Britt to the side, right? It's so strange to me. It is so weird to me how you could be upset with somebody. I mean, I'm talking about on this show. You could be upset with somebody. You could have all of these you could have all these pent up feelings for them. But when y'all see each other, like, hey, how you doing? Like, it reminds me, do y'all remember that, like, that episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta when Phaedra and Kandi met up after Kandi mama kept on saying that some man said he was going to blow Phaedra the F up? Y'all remember that? And the way that they had like greeted each other was like, hey, what's up? What's going on? You look pretty. You do too. And then they went into actually getting into it. And I was like, wow, that's so strange to me, because I don't think I can do that with somebody I'm having a problem with. I don't care how you do it. Bitch, sit down so we can talk. So yeah, but maybe that's just a Housewives thing. Shamea remind me of Kandi. Kandi is from Decatur. Portia should have just been the fun girl this season and left that Drew stuff alone. Yeah, I agree. But let's continue, y'all. Let's break this down. So Shamea pulls Britt to the side to ask her about this whole thing of her showing her text messages from Portia to her, and she wants to know where that came from. Apparently, Cynthia, after Britt had the conversation with Portia and herself, she ended up going to Shamia and letting Shamia know everything that Britt had said. So Shamia says that, I never showed you any text messages. Britt said, well, yes, you did. 3 months ago, you definitely took me and Kelly out and you showed us text messages, and you did say things about, Portia, and about how she wasn't a good friend to you and other things. And y'all, I don't believe Britt. I don't believe her. After seeing how, after seeing the interaction, it just seemed like she just made that up. Now, I don't know, maybe it is some truth to that. I don't know, but it just, the way that the Brit responded when she said, well, what did I say about her? She was like, you said, she wasn't a good friend. And then, the way that Shamia had framed the question, she was like, you've been telling Portia that I've been talking shit about her even after me and her made up. And she said, well, you talked about, Portia to us and let us know that you were not happy and some other things. I was like, but was that before or after they talked it out? Like, was that before or after that? And then, like, you didn't even say what she said or along the lines of what she said. Like, she's already let us know that, she's felt that Portia wasn't a good friend. So that wasn't really tea to me. I don't know, like, it didn't really give to me that Britt was telling the truth. It was all on Shamia's face. Now listen. Do I believe that Shamia probably talked about Portia before they had that conversation in the restaurant and said that they were going to move to a better place? Absolutely. And maybe that's what, that's when she showed these text messages. But I don't believe that Shamia, after Portia and herself had the conversation, showed Britt any text messages. And if Shamia did show Britt text messages, it was before Portia and Shamia, made amends. And that gives credence that Britt is lying about the timeline of what happened to make Shamia look bad. I want to know if Britt knows her husband is about. Let's move on. Anyway, so Shamia says, you might be jealous. She was like, jealous of you and Portia? She was like, no, jealous that you think I'm taking your friend, jealous of that. And then she says, I can see why y'all, this is what really gagged me, because I was like, well, how did we get here? So how do we get from, you lying about the text messages to I can see why you don't take shots? Because Shamia says, I can see why you don't take shots. Because, like, in Grenada, you was taking shots, just getting naked in front of everybody. And she was like, well, yeah, I got naked. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of my body. And Shamia says, well, thank you for wearing clothes today. And I was like, Shamia. I don't know where that came from. To me, it didn't really make sense to me how you connected that. And I thought it was very kind of like a low blow for you to, like, basically say that she's out here just being naked. But then again, I can't say that that's a low blow. That's not a low blow. That's the truth. She was naked. She was. I just don't understand what that had to do with this conversation. I don't. But she was like, well, thank you for wearing clothes today. And you could tell that definitely bothered Britt, because Britt is really tired at this point of people calling her a hoe. People are like, she is tired of people calling her a porn star. She is tired of all of that. So she said, okay, y'all want to throw these low blows? I'm going to throw a low blow. She says, well, did you ever see your daughter when you got back to Miami? You know, because after we got back from Grenada, I was expecting you to go talk to your daughter, to go see your daughter, but you was with Kelly taking shots. So I was like, wait. So like, is Britt saying that after, like, and then y'all, wait. Britt said, you know, with all of the stuff that you were saying when we were in Grenada, all, you know, that whole situation that you caused with you crying all over the place, I was expecting you to go see your daughter. And I was like, so is she saying that after they got back from Grenada that Kelly and Shamia went to Miami? Is that what she's saying, y'all? Is that what she's saying? Or is she saying that, or maybe it could be that after they left Grenada, they had to go to Miami on a connecting flight? I don't know, but she said when you got to Miami after Grenada, did you talk to your daughter? Because you was just out here taking shots with Kelly. And I was like, well, when did they go to Miami after Grenada? Was it right after? Or like, was it a connecting flight? Like, why? Like, why was she in Miami? Probably where the strep throat came from. Y'all, that really confused me. I want to know more about that. I need to know more. I believe it. Shamia is strange. It was probably called a layover. Shamia is allowed to have emotions and not race to ATL 20 on 10 is too much. I agree. Like, I just thought that was real disgusting for her to bring up this woman's daughter and then to even say, are you lying about your daughter's sickness? I was like, whoa, you need to beat her ass. You need to beat her ass. You need to beat her ass. Now, when it came to Kelly and Britt, and Kelly calling her a drug addict, a pill popper, that was one thing. And her, you know, rebutting, I was fine with that. But I really don't understand why she brought this woman's daughter into anything. Like, I just thought that was real tacky. I thought that was real gutter butt. I thought that was real gutter snipe. And the thing about it is, if you don't know how to read, then you don't need to be on this show. If you don't know how to have discourse with people, if you don't know how to go back and forth with people without, like, you know, putting out accusations, you know, talking about people's kids, then you need to get the fuck off the show. Like, you sitting here bringing up this woman's like medically complicated daughter, like, that's fucked up. Like, this child has a lot of health issues. For you to sit and try to say that she's lying about her daughter's health, like, is insane to me. Like, how fucking dare you? Like, that was so tacky. That was so disgusting to me. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely. Like, it was like giving no. And it's like, if you don't have anything to say, maybe if you know that you're not good at going back and forth with people, then maybe you shouldn't be doing shit that you're going to have to go back and forth about, Britt. Because it was no reason for you to even bring up what Shamia had said about Portia anyway. It was no reason for you to do that. So for her to talk to, you know, to tell you what she told you and y'all get into it, I believe it's something definitely different than you could have said than that. So then after you know, she brings up this woman's daughter, you know, Shamia saying, girl, don't bring up my daughter. Don't bring up my daughter. Don't talk about my daughter. Don't talk about my kids. Like, leave my kids out of this. And Shamia is way more calm than I ever could be. Shamia is way more calm than I would have been, because the way I would have yeeted Britt all around that room if I was Shamia would have been insane. Shamia is a better woman than I could ever be, because that was out of line. Child, Shamia then hit her back with, you know, at least I'm not a pill popper. At least I'm not out here popping pills. And I was like, see, this was why she needed to hit up Kelly the way that she did, because Kelly threw that out there, and therefore now Shamia can go around telling people that. Like, that's true. Like, so now, you know, because Kelly out here telling people that I'm a pill popper, now you can go around telling people I'm a pill popper too, and saying that to me, like, you know that for a fact because you heard Kelly say it. Which is why to this day, as of today, I still don't care about Britt bringing up those abortions. I don't. I don't think that Britt was wrong for doing that. And Shamia throwing that in Britt's face is the main reason why. Because after Kelly said that on nationally syndicated television in front of all of those girls, she knew that those girls would use that against Britt at some point. But child, after that, Britt said, but what about you cheating on your husband? What about you cheating on your husband? What about that? Shamia says, but girl, aren't you like a woman of the night? Aren't you like a prostitute? It got real gutter snipe in this conversation, and I was not expecting that. It took a wild turn. Now, do I believe that Shamia should have brought up Britt being naked in Grenada? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't really think that slut shaming was the answer to this. You know what I'm saying? I feel that you could have ate Britt up differently than than trying to slut shame her. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of slut shaming. I think being a slut is fun, honestly. I think that being a slut is fun. If you are sexually active or proud of your body, sexually positive and stuff like that, and you take control of your own sexuality, I think that's a beautiful thing, to be honest. I'm not here to say, oh, you need to just save yourself for marriage. Now, should you be out here giving it to everybody? No, that's not what we saying. But if you want to fucking do because you feeling him and you don't want to go and you don't want to hold back because of all of the different social things that we've been taught, then so be it. I don't really think that her being naked in Grenada had anything to do with that, but I can't call it a low blow because, she did it on camera. So it's not like, it's not like it was a secret thing versus her being called a pill popper. But it didn't have any connection into what was actually being said. You know what I'm saying? But what Britt said was completely degenerate. That was completely disgusting. That was gross. It was no excuse for that. And you definitely could have came up with something else. Because just as naked as you was in Grenada, Shamia was damn near that same amount of naked in Grenada. I don't know if we remember, but the shit that Shamia was wearing in Grenada, I was like, it's barely anything. I was getting a little bit uncomfortable watching it, if you ask me. Because I was like, 1 minute we sitting here crying about our daughter, and then the next minute we wearing a thong bikini. I was like, I don't know. It's giving weird. I don't know. I don't know. Now, these are my own thoughts as a reviewer, but for you to actually say that to Shamia and try to allude to her being a liar about her daughter, or her daughter not being sick, is really disgusting. But you could have hit her up with bitch, you had about the same amount of clothes I had on. You were naked too. So I don't know. Bringing up her daughter was just really distasteful to me. They're definitely doing classic Marlo Reeds or lack thereof. Yeah, definitely Mark. Because one thing Marlo will do is call you a hoe. She will call you a hoe. She will say that you a whore. Loved all the fake body. But child, let's move on. I think that was the end of this. Shamia says that it's no stranger to her that Britt is saying that she's around here cheating. And she says they've been dealing with cheating rumors for years. That ain't nothing. I was like, have y'all? Have cheating rumors for years? I was like, so it's people going around saying that you be cheating on your husband on a regular basis? Is that like a regular thing? I was confused by that. I was like, wait, so I don't remember nobody talking about this rumor. I don't ever remember hearing that. Now I did remember, people saying that you and Candy and Ty was doing stuff in the bedroom when you were engaged, but I don't really recall hearing anything about Shamia being a cheater in her marriage. So to hear Shamia say that, I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting to hear you say that. That's not the first time you heard that, but go off, sis. Hey. Go off, sis, child. But let's move on. Okay. So we are at Kelly's house, y'all. She's asking if she's waking her kids up, for breakfast. And I say, Kelly looked very beautiful in this scene, y'all. I don't know if she had on makeup. I don't know if it was because it was less makeup, but Kelly looked significantly better with in the house with her kids. Like, I don't know, maybe she had on like light foundation and just eyelashes. I can't tell. But I was like, Kelly looked really pretty. She looks really beautiful in this house scene with her kids. She ended up waking up her kids. They told her that she had coffee on her breath. Kids just can't help but to tell you the truth. Now, me growing up, I couldn't tell my mama anything like that. I grew up in the school where if your mama tell you to get up, you just get up. You just say, okay, mama. You don't tell your mama that her breath stank. Like, you don't do that. You'll get your ass whooped. The way my mama's like a really petite woman now. My mama's a real petite woman, but back around 2001, between 2001 to 2005, my mama was a bigger woman, around like 300, almost 400 pounds. My mama had a lot of significant weight loss. Now my mama's like only like 120. But my mama, back in the day, Mama Speaks used to be heavy. And I was very short. I didn't grow until I got to high school. So I was around like 5'5", maybe 4'11". Mama Speaks had heavy hands. Mama Speaks' hands was heavy as a bitch. Mama Speaks' hands used to feel like cinder blocks when they would lay on me. I don't think I would have ever had the courage to tell my mama her breath stank when she woke me up. I don't. The kids nowadays got way more courage than I ever could have. Okay. And I love that, because not the disrespect of anything, because I don't think what they said was very disrespectful. I just think that, it's a cultural difference based on my generation and the generation that we're watching now. But I love that we have like this new dynamic of parenting to where you allowing your kids to have their individuality and the freedom to tell you how they feel. Right. And I think that Kelly's kids have a lot of comfortability when it comes to talking to her. And that just shows you how comfortable of an atmosphere that she lays for her daughters. Right. So I think that Kelly's a really good mom, y'all. Kudos to Kelly. But that damn daughter, y'all, that oldest daughter gonna be a problem. She asked the oldest daughter, who came out of the room hella late. She asked her if she could put, the bacon in the oven, and the daughter was like, yeah, I mind. I'd rather not do that. And I was like, well, then I guess you're not gonna eat then. You're not gonna eat if you ain't gonna help with this food. If I ask you to put the damn bacon in the oven, then put the damn bacon in the oven. Don't tell me that you don't feel or you do mind me asking you that. Are you fucking insane? See, this is when like old school parenting like needs to come into play, because sometimes y'all get way too comfortable with y'all parents to where you feel that you could be disrespectful. Your mama putting a roof over your head, providing for you. If your mama's sitting here giving you the space to tell her how you feel, all of these different things, the least you can fucking do is put bacon in the damn oven. That's the least you can do. The least. Child, the way my face would have been against the pavement if my mama asked me to do it, minded if my mama asked me if I minded doing anything for her, and I say I do mind. The way I would have lost my life, y'all. I'm 30. I'm 30. I don't even cuss in front of my mama. The only way my mama hears me cussing is when she watches these videos or listens to this channel. I don't even cuss in front of my mama. I don't raise my voice in front of my mama. I can be very probably aloof with my mama to disassociate, but like getting disrespectful with my tone and telling her I'm mine and like no. It's giving no. It's giving no, girl. It's giving no. I can't even. But now on the last episode, y'all, listen, on the last episode of the season, Kelly finally wants to talk to us about the Sandy Springs location. Now, Kelly, I don't know if this is her friend and her friend lives with her or if this is like the maid. I don't know who this woman is. I think it's her friend, but it's like some woman with short hair ended up coming down and helping Kelly cook. And in the midst of her basically, helping her cook, Kelly opens up about the fact that they are behind with the location for Sandy Springs. And I'm like, you're behind, but you out here doing $1,000, over $1,000 dog birthday parties. You out here got stylists, you got a glam team, a videographer, but you can't pay for the renovations to the place that you signed the leasing agreement for. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Kelly talking about how the divorce is, taking a lot out of her, the way that she's fighting for everything. And I'm like, but you buying shit. How much does a team cost? How much does a team cost? 5 people, a videographer, a hairstylist, a makeup artist, a stylist, and I think you got somebody else in there, like a publicist. Like, how much are all of these? Like, how much do all of this stuff cost per year? Like, how much? I guarantee you, if you could take that cost and put it against what you owe for this restaurant, it'll end up, you'll end up finishing these renovations. But like, you remind me a lot of Brit when it comes to like you showing stuff on TV, but in actual reality, we out here struggling to pay the shit that we actually need to pay. You out here doing dog birthday parties, but now you getting sued by the person who you're leasing this restaurant for because you have not paid any of the rent. You have not renovated like you said that you were going to do. The place is still closed. It's not open to the public. So what, like, all of this money, what are we doing with it if it's not to actually put money into the shit that we say that we're building for the business? It's giving to me stunt queen. That's what it's giving to me. But go off, sis. Now, moving on from there, they ask a daughter, like, so are you going to be hosting at, this new restaurant? She asked her mama, like, can I be the manager? Chloe, if your ass struggles to put bacon in the oven for breakfast, why the fuck would your mama make you the manager of a whole breakfast restaurant? Why would she do that? That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense to me. You don't like, and like, I can't stand entitled kids. I can't stand kids who are raised in affluence who feel that they don't have to do anything. Like, they can just not do anything and still get everything. Like, I don't know. I wonder when you are, rich or wealthy, you have kids, how can you make it a point that they don't end up like that? Like, what can you do exactly? I wonder, because like so many kids like who have wealthy parents end up like this. And I don't understand that. And I grew up in the hood. So I can't understand this thought process. I grew up doing what I was told. Then I went into the military, did what I was told. It's not like I just had like a whole bunch of, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I don't feel like doing anything. My mama can pay for it. Can you buy me a BMW? Like, I can't even relate. Y'all listen, I went to a magnet school, STEM school when I was a kid, in high school. And Now, I had keys. I had a keychain where I carried all my keys on, right? And this is my senior year, right? So I went to school with a lot of rich kids. Like their families were doctors, lawyers, and things like that. So a lot of these seniors, they had cars that they went to the parking lot and just drove away in after school closed. Why did my ass used to take my keys? I used to be like, walk to the damn parking lot like I had a car to drive. Walk to the damn parking lot like I had a car to drive. Then turn into the like the alley and walk down the street to walk home. That used to be my life. Because I'll be damned if I'm gonna let any of you white students tell me that I'm broke. I'll be damned. I honestly I didn't even get to go to my prom because I didn't really have nobody to really like buy me any suit or anything. I didn't have anything to wear. I didn't even go to my prom. So yeah, I can't relate to this. I can't relate to this, y'all. I had to delude myself growing up. So like now I refine myself and I like to think of myself as having a very comfortable lifestyle to where I have all the things that I did not have growing up, but I can't wrap my mind around feeling like you should be giving something when you have not earned it. All right, so let's continue, y'all. So Phaedra is on a date with the dude Chi Chi from the trip that she had took him on Married to Medicine. I think that Apollo was there. I think this is the same guy. It could be, could not. I don't know. I didn't really watch Married to Medicine like that this last season. But she says that they've been dating for 4 years. We see a flashback when she met him with Sweet Tea, and they were introducing themselves. She was like, "My name Phaedra. What's yours?" Da 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 da. Then she tells him, "You could call me mommy." Phaedra, what? Why on earth would you want the man that you are dating to call you mommy or mama? That is so weird to me. But I can't lie, y'all. I can't lie. I'm not a stranger to calling somebody daddy. I'm not. But they didn't tell me to call them that. They didn't tell me that initially. They didn't do that. And it's not no huge age gap in between either. But Phaedra kept on calling this man a young whippersnapper. Like she kept on saying like, "Oh, he a young whippersnapper. He's dark, he's chocolatey, he's sexy, and everything else like that." I was like, not you calling him a young whippersnapper and then telling him to call you mommy. Y'all, that was just so ugh. Like Phaedra be really disgusting me. She really do. I don't never have anything positive to say about Phaedra. Yes, a young whippersnapper. She kept on calling him that. I was like, why are you calling this man a young whippersnapper? And y'all, so on the date, she's walking next to him. He was like, "Do you want me to put you on my back?" And she was like, "You always want me to be on your back." I was like, yuck, yuck, bleh, 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 bleh. I was like, no, nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. No, send this back. Send this back. No. Child, they get into the venue, wherever they're going or whatever. And she invites him to the gala. To Angela's gala, y'all. Now, they end up kissing. And it was just so gross. Like Phaedra said she had to cross her legs. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if it's just because I have a large disdain for Phaedra, but like this shit really disgusted me. Like it's almost like walking in on your grandmama having sex with your grandpa. It's almost like, you know, your grandmama lived down the street from the school, but your mama pick you up to take you home. But this time she got home late from work, right? So you ended up just walking to your grandmama house, and you know the grandparents always got the door unlocked in the daytime with the screen door open, right? So you walk in and your grandmama bent over with the muumuu up. Like she got the muumuu on above her ass, getting bent over in the kitchen, and is by none other than your granddaddy. And you just like, what am I looking at? That's the feeling that I have watching this. That's it. I was like, why? Why? But she invites him to the gala or whatever like that. But one thing Phaedra gonna do. Now, I don't know if she's doing this because, you know, she's paying these men, or like these men really with her because they find her sexy. I don't know, but she keep a fine man. I ain't gonna lie, the man is fine. The man is fine. He look good, you know, and he looked like he attracted to her, which is very shocking to me. Not saying that he can't be, but being like 10, I think, or 13 years like younger than her, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna just leave it alone though. But go off, sis. Go off. Do your thing. But Britt's mom has ended up moving into her house. She is telling her mom, you know, I was initially nervous about you moving in, and the mom was like, "Girl, I was nervous too. I didn't know if I could live in a house with your ass either." I was like, well, besides, you know, living with Britt and her annoying voice, I was like, from what the streets are saying, the husband is barely ever in that house because he's in Houston going to the gay sex parties allegedly. So y'all basically got the whole mansion to yourselves. So, like, of course, the mama having a good time. But Britt let us know that, you know, she had invited all of her family over tonight because she has some news to tell them. She tells her mama, you know, it's been 6 months since all of the sisters got together. The last thing that we got to see was the one sister, I think her name is Cheryl or Cher, like yelling at the other sister on the phone that it's really messed up that they abandoned her in her moment of grief. Y'all, like, watching that again, like tonight, and me being in the emotional place that I'm in right now mentally, like I felt real bad for that sister. Like, I really hope that they treat that sister right, because you never know what somebody's going through. And I know what it feels like to walk around life feeling like, you know, you're on your own, right? Like, for those of y'all who don't know, like, my best friend and two other friends, they ended up, you know, passing away in a car accident in 2022. And my best friend was like my family, right? Because like I never really had a close relationship with my family, you know, especially after I turned 18 and I went off into, you know, to the military. Like, and then on top of that, I'm in like this city by myself. So I know what it feels like to walk around life feeling like you don't have that support. Like you don't have, you know, hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Give me a second. It's cold in here, so my nose is running. I'm about to blow my nose real quick. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, I'm sorry. But like I was saying, like I know what it feels like to you know, to deal with grief, deal with life, and feel like the black sheep, you know, and you're, you know, living in this world alone. So, you know, like seeing her cry like that again, like it really did trigger something in me tonight. I don't know, but I just felt really bad for her because it's something that I'm like, going through currently myself. And, sometimes I wonder, will I ever find bonds like that again? Like, will I ever find like that chosen family again? Will I ever find friends like that again? Because honestly, y'all, Jeremy Speaks don't have many friends. Okay. I really just be solo for the most part. I do now. I'm not saying I don't have friends because I do, but friends are all for different things, right? Like not all friends can be there when you need to talk. You got friends that maybe you'll go out with them and they're more so partiers. Friends who are probably not the most emotionally mature ones. So you categorize them as such. So like I don't really have people that I can talk to regularly about things that I'm going through. So I can definitely understand how the sister felt abandoned because I feel like that a lot, you know. But needless to say, let's move on. So the family all gets together, right? And it's very beautiful to see. They're all hugging each other, they all laughing, they all talking about how they need to see each other more often. And the sisters look like they're in a better place. And I'm really happy for them and happy for Britt's family because I know, sometimes your siblings can be your worst enemy. Okay. But seeing them all come together, was really beautiful. And I was really happy for Britt. Britt gets up to tell them that she had an announcement to make. She turns to the side, rubs her stomach. They like, "Oh, you pregnant?" She was like, "Girl, no, I'm just playing." I was like, not you trolling pregnancy announcements on nationally syndicated television. Britt need help, y'all. Somebody needs to help Britt. Okay, Britt need help. But she tells them that they're moving forward with the ceremony, and I think this is either the vow renewal or the wedding. I was confused. I was like, so are y'all married or not? Why is this ceremony holding back you starting a child? Like if you want to have a kid, why does it why does it have to be after this ceremony? Because y'all already married anyway. So why does the baby have to wait after the vow renewal? Right? So they're very happy, they all clapping, yay. I was like, okay, but what type of ceremony is it? Is it a wedding? Is it a vow renewal? Is it what type of ceremony is this? Because she was just saying the word ceremony, but I didn't know what it was. So couldn't really tell you what the ceremony is, but congratulations. Are they are they renewing their vows in a bathhouse? I am weak. Y'all are carrying tonight. Okay. Y'all carrying. All right, y'all. So now we are at it's a lavender ceremony. I'm dead. Y'all are ignorant. Not a lavender ceremony. What is that? A lavender ceremony. Oh, child. Y'all ain't right. Y'all are not right. Y'all not. Y'all not. Y'all not right. But y'all look, we are at the final scene of the episode, right? Final scene. We made it here, y'all. Let's clap for ourselves because this has been a lot of ups and downs. But overall, before we finish this up, y'all, what do y'all rate this season out of 10? I'm gonna rate this season a good 7.5 to 8. Maybe 8. I feel that this season was really good. I think that this was a pretty decent season. 8.5, 8. Okay, so y'all agree. Y'all agree with me. I was expecting lower numbers because I know my fan base, are huge Kenya fans. So okay, well, I have a 6, a C plus. So on average between 7 to 8, Okay, so yeah, like a 5.5. Yeah, of course. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it for the most part. If anyone should be suing, it should be Kenya. I don't know. I think Kenya probably will be back next season. 6.5. 6.5. Okay, 5, 5.5, 6. So let me ask y'all this. What do y'all think could have made the season better? Like, what do you want to see moving forward to make it better? Like, let's ask that for a second because I like, we're gonna finish this scene up pretty fast. So I figure like let's give a little bit more time to ask y'all some questions. Kenya, Kenya would have made the season better. I left when Phaedra came back 5. So them bringing Phaedra back lowered the rank for you. If Kenya would have stayed, I just don't like change. Okay. Nene back. Nene back. Okay, got 7. I don't know, y'all. It's not really giving real organic storylines. Portia was draining. I wonder how Portia is gonna carry the next season. I wonder what she's gonna do. Some of the first year cast members went through growing pains. Angela was a good addition. I can agree with that. Definitely can agree with that. The OG should be friends of not actual housewives. I mean, I liked that Portia was back. I liked that Portia was back. I don't think that Angela should be back. I think that Cynthia was not needed this season. She didn't really add anything to me. Authentic storylines are an issue with a lot of these shows. Absolutely. Portia was petty this season, thus the nickname Petty P. Okay. I see. All right, y'all. Let's start this, okay? Y'all, this was wild. This was wild to me. This was wild to me. This was wild. This was a wild event. This was a wild event. Well, let's continue. Let's start. So we are at the Charles Oakley Foundation Gala. Charles Oakley Foundation is for the inner city kids that ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but we gonna get them some money. That's what this is for, basically. And they also partner with domestic violence advocacy groups. I was like, not domestic violence when Charles be talking to Angela any type of way. Girl, please. That's insane to me. But go off. But, Angela tells us that they have a goal of 50K, right? But all the girls show up, y'all, but Angela is gone. She gone. They wondering where she at. She late. Even Charles is wondering where she at. We see Angela, in the dressing room of the venue, basically on the phone with Drew. So she got there late because she had some stuff to clear up, right? So apparently, she and Drew met up with Marcus and some other man that had a very questionable face. And they questioned the information. They asked them questions. Well, like, where did you see him? When did you see him? The dude said June in the restaurant. She was like, ain't no way. That's some bullshit because he was not even in town in June because he was on the road with the big 3 and that was on television. So it couldn't have been June. You can't even lie right. So I'm gonna give you a chance to tell me who this was that put you up to this, because obviously this was lies. Who sent you? Child, apparently the dude wanted to know if they were gonna have his back. They were gonna like be, be down and support him or whatever the case may be. They say, yeah, we got your back. Go ahead. Tell us. The dude was acting like he didn't want to say it on camera, so they said, type it in the phone, let us see. So the dude typed it in the phone. She looks at it, and then she sends it. She hands the phone over to Drew, and then Drew look at it, and Drew is like shocked. And I'm like, well, who the hell was it? Who was it? Now I'm acting like I don't know who it was, because I'm just trying to act like I'm actually not looking at the outside stuff on the show. But I'm like, who was it? Was it Kelly? Was it Britt? Was it Phaedra? Who was it? Let me know. So as everybody is, getting into the venue, we finally see Angela arrive, right? Portia arrives, and the girls all, come to Portia, and they ask, is she okay? Portia says, yeah, I'm okay. They're wondering, and this is about them. I'm talking about Cynthia. Cynthia's wondering, like, how are you and Shamia? She was like, me and Shamia are good. Shamia has good energy here, and that's all that matters. I haven't moved any differently with Shamia. I'm grown. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. And, her talking about me to Britt is like the least of my problems. Child, Portia has a way of making Shamia sound like a peasant every single time she discusses her, don't she? She be making this woman sound like a peasant. Girl, she be having just so much other stuff to deal with. The last thing that she want to deal with is this whole drama with Shamia. I was like, this is insane. But go off, sis. Do your big boy. Angela begins the event, and they're on stage, right? She's starting to honor people. They're breaking down the meaning and the mission of the Charles Oakley Foundation. And y'all, this is why I love Angela. Angela is such a beautiful soul to me. She's just such a beautiful soul. So Angela gets on stage and she says, I will also want to honor somebody who just recently went through a loss, and they still managed to make their way here to help support our foundation. And she says, Portia, we want to honor you today. Portia got on stage, and she dedicated the award to Londi. And y'all, it was very beautiful. It was very beautiful, y'all. I've not been feeling the best, this past week. And seeing that really did make me emotional. I was like, that was very, very beautiful of Angela to do that. After all of the stuff that y'all have done to Angela, after all the things that y'all said about Angela, Angela still finds a way to show empathy and sympathy to what y'all are going through. And I just think that's a beautiful trait. I think that is so beautiful. I love me some Angela, y'all. I love me some Angela. I don't care. This is the Angela Stan account. Angela knows how to navigate this space. Absolutely. Now, would I have done that? Probably not. And initially, when I did see it, did I question her motives behind it? Probably so. But at the end of the day, the effect of it remains the same. It made Portia feel good. It gave her a chance to honor Londi's memory, dedicate, the award, or I think she got an award or something, to Londi. And I thought that was, beautiful, but after Portia gets off stage, right, she goes sit down and she gets very emotional. Angela has me fooled, y'all. Like, she can have me fooled. I believe her. I believe Angela. I believe Angela. Let me live in my Angela Oakley delusion. Okay. Don't you say, you can't say, don't you say nothing about Angela. Y'all remember Benita Betrell from Living Color? Now don't you say nothing about Angela. That's a good woman. That's a good woman. Oh, don't you say nothing about Angela. But I heard the hoe couldn't breathe through her nose, but you ain't heard it from me. Been sounding like she been penny pinched from the day one, I love me some Living Color, y'all. Don't you say nothing about Angela. Angela and Shamia are one and the same. I don't know. I think that's a stretch. We know nothing about Angela. She shows just as much of her life as Phaedra. I don't think that they wanted to. I think they were too focused on the other girls, to be honest. But Phaedra would never let y'all see Apollo disrespecting her. The only time that Phaedra allowed y'all to see Apollo disrespecting her is when she couldn't help it. She when Apollo was looking like he was trying to run down on her in that garage, when she said, "Go away from me with this, Apollo." And she was so happy that the security was there to separate them, because no telling what Apollo would have did. But I don't know. I don't see that with Angela. Even though Portia loves the spotlight. Angela deflects so you don't see what's really going on. I mean, what else could be going on? I mean, she already let us know that her husband has cheated on her. She already let us know that her houses are in foreclosure, that, she's going through financial difficulties right now because of the foreclosed properties. She letting us know that it's already causing an issue with her, with her marriage. She already let us know that her and her mom have a complicated relationship. Her mom is bipolar. The daughter and the mama and the sister don't really see it for each other. The sister and her ain't really cool. I mean, I feel that Angela has shown us and told us what it is. Like, what else? Like, what else? Like, what else could it be? What's really going on with Angela that is receded? Receded? Is that a word that y'all just made up? Angela deflects so you don't see what's really going on. Angela knows what she's doing. We know Angela owes Charles that $2 million for the lost causes of the real estate flip-flop. Isn't that hereditary? I don't think bipolar disorder is necessarily, well, it can be hereditary, but I don't think that Angela has bipolar disorder. Angela gets ahead of the story before it comes out. Exactly. Which you should be doing, because you're on national syndicated television. You're on a reality show. So if you know that your business is going to be exposed, expose it yourself. Like, I don't really know what. There's no outside baby. Why her daughter got married without telling her for real, or why her mama didn't like Charles, etc. The daughter, now she asked the daughter, why wouldn't she tell her? The daughter really didn't get into that. Like, I can't blame Angela for that, because her daughter didn't say. Now, the outside baby, that's not true. We ended up finding out that the baby, that people are talking about, the one that she was talking about in the initial introduction that she had, when she named all of the kids and the kids' ages and she skipped him, that child is 28. So it's no outside baby. Like, he don't have like a newborn. Is no underage child like that. Like, so the Charles Oakley Jr. is allegedly 28, 29 years old. So the baby thing has been debunked. Yeah. So it's no outside baby. Now, I think we all know the reason why Charles and the mama probably got into it. I think because the mama said that Charles, he didn't like the way that Charles was talking to her. I mean, we don't like the way that Charles be talking to Angela. So I can only imagine what the mama might feel. And then the what else? I like to me, I feel like, Angela's been very transparent. Charles is old and ornery. He is the stock that feel like affection is soft, especially on camera. Because he's a cheater. It's more to everyone's story on TV. Angela needs to go into PR. All of Angela's kids by Charles. I'm confused. No, only one of them are. Well, only two of them are by Angela. I mean, by Charles. I believe the daughter is by Charles, and I believe the daughter is from a previous marriage, and I think the son that they share, I think they share a son together. Angela has shown more of her story than the rest of the cast. That's what I'm saying. To me, I feel like Angela's been very transparent. I just think Angela has, like, in the midst of her being on the behind the camera stuff and watching Real Housewives of Atlanta in the past, and also watching YouTubers, because I believe that Angela watches all of this. I believe that she took into consideration everything that we all say on YouTube, meaning like, don't let nobody else spill your tea, bitch. You spill your own tea. Because in the same breath that Phaedra ended up, talking about her houses being foreclosed, Angela had already exposed it the scene prior. So she was like, bitch, that's not a secret. And I was like, see, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Took the ammunition right out of Phaedra's hands. Took the ammunition right out of Phaedra's hands when she talked about that foreclosure. I was like, that's how you do it. Angela has revealed a lot, but yet not shown a lot. She knows what she's pretentious. I fuck with Angela Lee. Y'all ain't go not too much. Not too much on Angela. Not too much. Okay. Who cares? The children's bio parents are in the family. Nah, I don't see it for Angela. Something about her don't sit right in your spirit. And that's fair. That's fair. Everybody's spirit says something differently. But let's finish this up. So Portia gets back to the table, y'all, and she just breaks down crying. She gets emotional, and the girls go like surround her and support her, right? Y'all. Portia's a sociopath. Portia is a sociopath. Portia is a sociopath. Portia is a narcissist. Something is wrong with Portia. Y'all, something wrong with Portia. I don't know. Portia ain't right. Portia ain't right. So Shamia goes to Portia and she's, wiping her face, all of that. And then we see in the confessionals, Shamia is saying, I love my friendship with Portia. And although me and her may be in a different place right now, I will always support my friend because I love my friends and I love my friendship with her. Where will our friendship be after all of this is said and done? I don't know, but I love her. I was like, girl, this is not about y'all damn friendship. Lundy died. Don't nobody give a damn about the friendship anymore, Shamia. Lundy is dead. Have you no shame, Shamia? Have you no shame? Lundy dead. Don't nobody give a damn about the friendship. Give us a damn break. I was like, not y'all. So So Portia like standing, wiping her face, getting her face together. And Shamia was like, girl, and we always gonna be there for you. And I'm gonna make sure you good. Portia looked to the camera. She was like, I was like, Portia, something wrong with her. Something wrong with Portia. How do you go from breaking down about your cousin passing to shading the shit out of Shamia in 0.5 seconds? It's crazy to me. Crazy to me. Who's so classless? Community of observations. Who is so classless? Pause. Let the panel let the people know who's classless. Because I would like to know. Let me know who's classless. We want to know. I would like to know that. Put it in the chat. Let me know who is he and why is he so classless? Who's classless? I'm waiting for you, community observations. Who's classless? Okay. I didn't see anything, so I'm gonna move on. But whenever you're ready to let me know. Because I would like to know. So I'm aware of who's classless as well. But let me know. But let's continue, y'all. Anyway, like I said, Portia in 1 second was crying, and then the second she side-eyed the camera as soon as Shamia said, girl, we gonna make sure you good. I was like, something's wrong with Portia. Now, how you gonna shade this girl when you was just crying? Like, something's wrong with her. And they ended up raising $107K for the charity, y'all. Congratulations. Also, y'all, did y'all peep how Britt was saying that Kelly was paying for followers? Because she was like, well, I know Kelly's gonna donate a lot, she's gonna definitely be able to get a lot of supporters for this charity because you just gained like 80,000 followers in like 2 days. Y'all, that shit had me weak. I was like tug on her lace. If like what I don't care, y'all. Between Kelly and Britt, I'm gonna take Britt's side. I'm taking Britt's side in the whole Kelly Britt thing. I'm taking Britt's side. I'm sorry. That's just me. Y'all can believe whatever y'all want to believe, but I am taking Britt's side when it comes to Kelly. Child, that had me weak. That woman basically said, you paying for followers. I slick wish Britt came to I think we all wish Britt would have come to the reunion. I think if Britt did come to the reunion, she was definitely going to be back the next season. I wonder why she just didn't, because if she would have come and did what she needs to do, it's no doubt in my mind she would have been invited back for the following season. Probably. I think she would have. The same Portia who didn't know she married a scammer, but she can smell BS. Child, I don't know, but y'all listen. Now this starts the mess. The mess begins, child. So after the event concludes, Angela pulls the girls into a separate room, right? She pulls them into a separate room. Now, Angela begins to discuss the whole toast with Marcus, basically saying, toast if your name is Angela and your husband is cheating on you. And she said she did think it was kind of weird that it happened at Kelly's event. And I was like, wait, now are you alluding that it's Kelly? Now, y'all, what was so confusing to me? What was really sending me to the roof is that Angela at this point found out who it was. The man told her who it was, but she is going down the line saying, I thought it could have been you, or it could have been you, and making the girls all like, defend themselves when she already know who it really was. Like, that was sending me through the roof. I was like, but you already know. Why would you even say that to Britt when you know that it was already Phaedra? Why are you doing this to Britt? Y'all, it was sending me up the fucking roof. Kelly is like, it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with that. I'm like, Angela, you know it wasn't Kelly. Why are you making these ladies squirm? Why are you doing that? That's why I keep saying it was staged by her and Drew. The man coming to her. So wait, you think Angela? So you saying that you think Angela paid somebody to come to her to say that her man was cheating, so she could blame it on Phaedra and make a storyline? Yes, none of it made sense. But we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that, y'all. We gonna get into that. Okay, we gonna get into it. All right. Now, Angela says at first she wasn't sure who it could have been, and she says that Drew was able to figure it out. They said Drew will show the receipts. Drew. Drew gets up, y'all. She walks out the room, walks back in, and all I see is, at first I thought the shit was a kiwi, but it was the back of Marcus's head. I was like, this from one bald-headed bitch to another bald-headed bitch. If the hair is leaving you, you might as well just chop it off. There's no reason to keep it. If the hair is growing in patches, baby, just shave it off. It will do you much better than to just have this kiwi peach fuzz growing in various parts of your scalp. That shit was looking like Pangea. Okay, well, hold on. Okay, so community observations. You do seem to be callous and socially disingenuous to speak about someone's passing in such a jovial manner to prove a point. It's weird and cringeworthy and classless. Okay, well, bitch, if you feel that way, you can go. I mean, I don't really feel. I felt that I was being as understanding as I could. My point was to say, Lundy is dead. Why are we doing this? But bitch, I ain't got to explain myself to you. It's so weird. If y'all don't like some shit, bitch, if you don't like it, you can go. I don't force you bitches to be here to watch me. I don't. I'll be on here talking to myself. You can check that back at the earlier lives that I had when I first started. Bitch, I ain't got no problem talking to me. I do this for me, not for you. So if you feel that it's cringeworthy, if you feel that it's weird, bitch, you can go and do whatever you got to do. And you want to know what, sir? I'm going to help you do that. So now you banned and you ain't got to come back. You don't have to suffer through watching Jeremy Speaks television. You don't. Don't put yourself through something that you don't want to be, dealing with. Don't do that to yourself, community. That's unfair to you. It's unfair to who you are as a person. Love yourself enough not to deal with Jeremy Speaks TV. I promise you, I will not be upset. I promise you I won't be. You bitches have a weird dynamic of feeling that y'all coming in here telling me what the fuck you feel. I don't care. I don't. If you feel that you don't like my content, don't like my delivery, don't think I'm a genuine person, I don't give a fuck. That information does me nothing. Okay? It does me nothing. I will still take this PM tonight and go to bed restfully. Okay? I will still have to feed the damn dog and the cat. I will still have to go to work in the morning. Nothing that was unnecessary information for me. But blessings to you upon your journey, I guess. I hope not to see you again on here. All right, but let's move on. So she brings in Marcus, y'all. Head looking like a fucking like fucking peach fuzz. Okay. Now, immediately when she brings Marcus in this bitch, Charles goes up to him and says, "You gotta get that." Hold on, wait, hold on. Charles walked up to this man. Y'all, I was so afraid. Charles was about to beat this man's ass. Charles was about to toss this man. Have y'all ever seen when cartoons get into fights and it's just a whole bunch of smoke and stars and the fucking person in the fight is like get thrown out of the cloud of smoke and then drop back into the smoke and all you see is arms and legs flailing within the smoke? I low-key thought that's what was about to happen. I was real scared for Marcus. But honestly, if he did get his ass beat, it was well deserved. But the thing about it is Angela invited him to this event. Now, Angela, why on earth would you invite this man to this event? Now, granted, the event was over. But even being in the venue, knowing that your husband is here, I would have made sure that my husband was gone before I even did this. That was very weird to me. But this man almost got his ass beat. Charles walked up to this man and said, "You got to get out of here, bitch. Fuck you doing here, bitch? Didn't I tell your ass not to walk your ass in there, bitch? Get out of here, bitch." And like, so he's saying, I gotta leave. I gotta leave. Now, y'all see the tone that Marcus has is completely different than the tone that he had when he made the toast. Y'all see the tone when he made the toast is completely different than the tone that he has in front of Charles. Now, at the toast, it was toast if your name is Angela and your husband is cheating on you. It was that voice. It was that tone. Very proud, very, very prideful. But as soon as Charles told him to get the hell out, all of a sudden he's like, I gotta leave. I was like, now where the fuck Urkel come from? Where did this octave of Urkel come from, Marcus? Speak how you were speaking at the event that you said that on the mic. Speak how you were speaking. Why so soft spoken when this 6'8" man is in front of you? Y'all, I was just so like, the man said, "Oh, I gotta leave. Okay, I'll go." So he's walking out. Angela goes and says, like, "Leave him alone." So we didn't know what Angela. Now, in the trailer, before the season had even been started, we saw parts of this. Now, I didn't know what Angela was talking about. Leave him alone. So she is telling her husband to leave Marcus alone so Marcus can go and tell the people who did this. She is telling her husband, "Just trust me. Trust me." And he's like, "I don't trust you, bitch." He's just saying, he's basically, "I don't trust you." I was like, not he telling you on national television that he don't trust you. Woo! Y'all, I was, and then mind you, he's not stopping. Charles is grabbing up this man saying, "Bitch, you need to get the fuck out of here. Like, you need to get out of here, bitch. Get out of here, bitch." Angela's like, "Leave him alone. Leave him alone." Charles is just so fed up. He's like, "Do whatever you want to do. I'm leaving." So Charles leaves the building, y'all. Charles leaves the venue. I'm like, he is going to be, I know when Angela went home, she didn't hear the end of this. I know when Angela got home, he let her have it. I know he did. I know Angela has a pre. He said, I don't trust you. Charles gives zero F's. Apparently, I did not know this because I'm not really big on basketball. I'm more of a tennis fan. I watch a lot of tennis. He was called like the enforcer or something like that. Like, so they were like, what does that mean exactly? Like, was he fighting people on like at the basketball games or something like that? Like they said that, he didn't play. I was like, but basketball ain't a contact sport. Now I know Draymond Green be busting people in the face and stuff like that, but is that what Charles Oakley was doing? I guess Charles Oakley was Draymond Green before Draymond Green was Draymond Green. He was the muscle. He sure was very aggressive player. Child, I couldn't really basketball is not that is now when I think of football, I think of that of a contact sport. But when I think of basketball, I don't think of that as a contact sport. Now, are there moments where where you may make contact with somebody? Yes, but I don't know if I just believe that if I'm playing basketball, I should be prepared for somebody to whoop my ass or to power drive me into the ground or to push me into the basketball hoop. I don't know if I should just that should be expected. Now if I'm talking about football, now that to me is definitely a contact sport. But I never really thought of basketball that way, but it's so interesting to find that out. If you look at what's going on around the net, it's not for the weak. Remember, basketball players are like 6'7", so they can't avoid contact. What does that even mean? Are you saying like because you're so tall that like you can't control your limbs? Is that what you're saying? Back in the day, the rules were different. The players were not soft. Hey, work, enforcer. So when Angela brings the man back into the group, back into the room, what a group is that, y'all? Let's get started to break down what this man said. So he tells the girls that somebody in this group is the one who put him up to this. He says somebody has anger or irritation towards Angela, and they want to know, well, who? Put a name on it. Put a name on it. He looks over to the left and he looks to his right and says, Phaedra. Y'all, it reminded me of that scene when Portia was like, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? And then Sheree said, Portia. It was identical. He looked to the right. He said, Phaedra. He said that Phaedra is the godfather, the godmother of Atlanta. I was like, what? So wait, like Phaedra's basically like a mob boss now. She out here calling hits. Yeah, she like she's shaking people down for cash. Y'all, I was weak. So he said that Phaedra was the person that dropped off the envelope of information to him. Right? They say, well, how do you even know Phaedra? Like, how do y'all even have interaction? Because Phaedra's like, I don't even know this man. Girl, what? And he says Junebug. He said Junebug. This man just said Junebug. I was like, you don't know the man's first name? You can't even give a first name. Junebug. Nigga, we are on national television, not Junebug. Junebug is an alias for Phaedra's man. What? So then Phaedra denies it and said that she would never do this after what she'd been through prior with the group. You know, her basically planning a fake story about Candy that got her kicked off the show. So Junebug is the first and last name. At this point, I just don't. I can't. But Angela tells us in the confessional, she said because the production had asked, well, how did you even find out this man's name and knew where he worked or lived at? She said Phaedra called her. She said that Phaedra called her and told her, well, I ended up finding out the man's name, and his name is Marcus such and such, and he works at so and so. And I was like, well, if Phaedra did it, why would she tell you the man's name to find him? I thought y'all found out where this man was from or where he was on your own accord. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Now, Phaedra is at this point trying to defend herself. Now, in the confessionals, Kelly is saying that the obvious person who did it was Britt. Shamia is saying the obvious person that did it is Britt. Portia is in the confessionals saying that Angela did it to herself. Y'all, Portia had me crying. She was like, y'all, I think she did it to herself. She was like, I think she did it to herself. I said what I said, fight me at reunion. I think Portia did it. That's what you think, Matthias? But no, y'all love Angela. This helping just louder. I mean, but can I say Angela lied? I don't know. The man did say that Phaedra did it. So he said that. Now, if the man is lying on Phaedra, that's one thing. But I don't think that, I don't know. To me, it just seemed a lot for me to believe that, because let's break this down, Shay. I just don't believe that Angela would find some random man who she has never met, tell him to come to her at the scene, say that her husband is cheating on her, right? To go have to tell her husband, who is going to be upset, then to film with the man and ask him who it was, convince him to lie and say it was Phaedra, so then she could bring him back at the end of the season to approach Phaedra and blame her in front of the group, so Angela has a reason to go at her. I just, that to me, that sounds like madness. I just can't believe that Angela just concocted all of that. That don't make sense to me for Angela to do that. Now, maybe the man is lying. Maybe the man is lying because he didn't want his business put out, because Angela did threaten him that she was going to expose that he's that he's on the list, right? But I don't necessarily know if I don't know if Angela's lying. I can't. It ain't the first time people have said Charles was cheating. And you heard what he said to her when she said she wanted to clear his name. He said his name was clear. I don't know, but I feel like maybe because Angela is so used to hearing things, to to hearing things on TV, basically growing its own legs. She wanted the person who brought the information to be the person who said that they were lying and then say what happened. So like I think that's what it was, because whenever you say something, it grows legs and it has a life of its own. Like, for example, Kelly called Britt a pill popper. We don't have any evidence of Britt popping pills. But because Kelly said that on national television, everybody is calling her a pill popper now. And then one of the cast members, because Kelly said it, are now saying it to Britt. So you say something on this show and then it grows legs and then people just automatically go with it. So I can understand why, you know, Angela wanted this person to clear this man's name up. Charles is old. Charles, I told y'all, is still working mentally in the plantation. So he don't understand, nor does he care about how things may look on TV. But Angela may be like, well, I'm not about to be getting dragged and getting told my husband is cheating on me. So let this man tell what his truth is. Your name is not clear until I say it's clear. Mr. Oakley. Phaedra is an easy target. My only problem is Phaedra was only there 2 weeks and not around Angela like that. She didn't even know they were married. That's a lie. Phaedra knew Angela was married. It's no way Phaedra did not know Angela was married. They knew that she was married because Angela and Nene were in the foundation together. Phaedra knew that woman was married. Phaedra lied and said that they did not know that woman was married. How everybody in the world know that Charles Oakley is married, including Wendy Williams, and she put it on national television. And well, you know, I don't mean literally everybody around the world, but I'm saying that they knew that she was married. She was even asked to be a part of the show. And I think season 6, season 7, and season 8, they wanted her and her husband to come onto the show and join the cast. I remember Angela saying a lot of people don't know her in the city. I don't remember Angela saying a lot of people don't know that she was married to that Charles was married. I don't remember her saying that. Right. Phaedra is paid for starting mess. She's intelligent enough to walk it back when forced. I don't know. And y'all, the reason why I believe that it was Phaedra, right, is because if you remember the situation that had transpired between Candy and Phaedra, right? Y'all remember when they were at the reunion, right? And Phaedra had alluded to like, well, instead of focusing on me, you need to focus on getting that business open. Aren't you having troubles opening the business? Right? And she ended up saying that, but Candy said, well, you would know that because we already know that you've been going around paying people to try to get our license revoked. We already know that's what you've been doing. And the way that Phaedra has said, instead of focus on me, how about you research all of those foreclosures that you have? It reminded me about that, because y'all saying that it's only been 2 weeks. Y'all saying that it's only been 2 weeks, right? Let's lay this out. It's only been 2 weeks. Phaedra hasn't had enough time to do anything. But Phaedra had enough time to research Angela's properties and see if they are in foreclosure or not, to throw it in her face. How would Phaedra know that her houses are in foreclosure? Because Angela didn't tell the group that yet. How did she know that Angela was in foreclosure? So obviously she's been doing some type of research over these 2 weeks in preparing for something. Because how would she even know that? If it's just been 2 weeks and she don't even know Angela like that, but you knew that her houses are in foreclosure? I didn't know that. That's public information. But who's looking it up? Because the rest of the group didn't know that. They're like Charles and Angela's marriage is public information. But you claim that nobody else knew. So you knew that Angela had houses in foreclosure, but you didn't know that she was married. She knew about the marriage when she met Angela. I believe that. I believe she knew about that marriage when she met Angela. I don't doubt that Phaedra, that Phaedra put this together. I don't doubt that Phaedra put this together, but I also don't doubt that man is lying on Phaedra to try to get the heat off of him. I don't, or to like get in more scenes and do more stuff on the show. Like I believe that he could also be lying too, but I don't believe that Angela concocted all of this for this man to lie on Phaedra. I don't believe that. Fans give them tea in their DMs. Y'all didn't even know Phaedra had even joined the show at that point. We didn't find out until after the 2 weeks was up when Phaedra joined the cast. So why would people be sending Phaedra random information about Angela when she's not even on the show or was on the cast? I really believe it was a setup. Well, we can all agree to disagree, y'all. We can all agree to disagree. Everybody got there. It was announced 2 weeks after it was already taped. It wasn't announced before she had got there. It was announced after filming had wrapped that she came in the last 2 weeks. I remember because I covered it. It didn't it's not like after she left Married to Medicine, it's like Phaedra leaves Married to Medicine and now she's about to go tape for Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was the ending of the 2 weeks when we ended up finding out that she was taping. But y'all, Angela then says, so I liked you. I believed in you. I trusted you. And you want to destroy my marriage. It's because you don't have a ring. It's because you don't have a ring, girl. Because you don't have this. I was like, girl, not we out here bragging about rings when our men are like disrespecting us on television. We shouldn't be doing that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay? Like, we shouldn't be doing that. I don't know. Like throwing around penises as digs to people. I don't really see. I don't really vibe with that. That's not really my. I don't really. And then your husband, yeah, he rich, but does he treat you nice? Is he nice to you? Let's not brag about that, Angela. Let's not. And then, Angela says, but let's talk about your kids. When's the last time your kids saw their father? I was like, now, Angela, where are you going with this? I was like, now, don't you talk about Mr. President. You leave Aiden and Mr. President out of this, Angela. Don't you do that. And then it was like, don't talk about kids. No, don't talk about kids. Don't talk about kids. Shamia says, yeah, let's not talk about kids like Britt did me. I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute, what? Now at this point, the whole attention shifted. Now it went from Angela and Phaedra to Britt and Shamia. And it was like Britt is like, y'all, Britt had me weak. Like Shamia was like Britt, you talked about my child. Like, is she going off? And she was like, the reason I'm still in this seat because I really want to beat her ass. And Britt is like, what? What's going on? She was like, Britt was like, girl, what? What's going on? I was like, Britt, why are you acting like you don't know what she's talking about? It was like the whole confusion on Britt's face and the unbotheredness. She was like, She was fixing her dress. I was like, what is going on here? Angela lost points with the kids. Like, Angela didn't even know her daughter was married. I agree. I did not like that. I was like, no, I was like, you leave Mr. President alone. He ain't got nothing to do with this. The next part, like, yeah, so Angela says, I'm gonna beat her ass. I'm gonna beat her ass. I was like, Shamia, let's not. Britt said, are you threatening me? She is triggering Shamia. She was like, are you threatening? Is that a threat? Is that a threat? Y'all, what Shamia said next had me crying. Y'all, Shamia turned to this woman. And said, no, you threaten hoes with pistols and whips, you whore. She was like, no, you threaten people with pistols and whips, whore. Y'all, I damn near fell out the seat the way Shamia said that. Shamia turned into one of the white girls from Pretty Little Liars. I was cackling. What was that? What was that accent? Like, Shamia, what was that accent that she can? You whore. I was like, bravo. Y'all did this. Y'all ate this finale up, girl. Y'all ate this up. It was a job well done. I enjoyed this. This was good. Okay, y'all did that. Y'all did this finale. Y'all did that. Okay. Ciao. They all get downstairs and Portia's like, girl, she's talking about she gonna beat her ass, girl. What is going on? And then Cynthia and like she's talking to Cynthia, and she's like, how did she even find out that Britt told me? Cynthia said, well, I told her because I didn't want no surprise. I was like, because you was being fucking messy. That's why. She ends up apologizing to Portia because she was saying, like, girl, that doesn't even matter to me. I'm not treating Shamia any type different. I was already treating Shamia like shit anyway. So me treating her like shit after I find out she been talking shit ain't really gonna change anything. I love Shamia. And I also like to treat Shamia like shit. So at any point, if Shamia feels like she wants to exit the relationship, it's okay because I don't really like the bitch. But if she feels like coming back so I can treat her like shit, that is fine too. The door is always open for me to shit on Shamia. Always. That's what I got out of that. That's what I got. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if y'all heard that, but that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Okay. So I thought it was the end of this episode, and then we get black screen 5 months later. Portia and Simon's house. Cross that name off Portia's house. They had a court date coming up. Portia got to keep the house and this man. Child, Portia's talking about, y'all. I know that he's ready to move on with his life. Girl, he's in ICE detention. Portia. This man don't want to give you this house. Stop playing. Talking about, I just know that he want to move on in his life too, and like he's ready to move on. Girl, he is getting deported, and you knew that. Portia is a key to me. Portia's the key. Portia ain't shit. Portia ain't shit. But I'm not gonna lie, like I don't enjoy Portia on the show. Look at who came over ready to eat a piece on that man's bed. Dirty Diane. Dirty Diane. Leave people mama out of this, Patricia. Wait a minute, Patricia. Not you got the mama. Not you got the mama from P Valley. Is this the Patricia, is that you? Now, Patricia, you give Mercedes back her money. You give her back what you stole from her. And you get out of the running for the election for the mayor of Chucalissa City. ICE did the supermarket sweep on Simon. Portia, Simon ready to move on. When Portia said Simon's ready to move on, I was like, girl, he is getting deported. What are you talking about? You did not get to keep the house because he was ready to move on and y'all both are ready. I don't know if you had anything to do with it. Now, Simon said that you did, but like he said that somebody got him deported. Okay. Now, I don't know who it could be, but I was gagging. And y'all, that was the end of the episode. Portia said she had post-divorce clarity now. And that's it, y'all. That's all she wrote. That was season 17. Now we just have to wait for the 3 parts of the reunion to finish. And I know I'm gonna be stressed with this. Because y'all listen. Love and Marriage Huntsville is gonna start. Love and Marriage Huntsville is gonna start, and that means that I'm gonna have to do these reviews. Then I'm gonna have to decide a day to do the live reviews for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Then I'm gonna have to edit the live, upload it as a video. It's gonna be a rough few weeks for me. Season 16. Yeah. You got it. Okay. Now, I wanted to thank Christopher Laws. Thank you so much for your Cash App. I appreciate it. Like I said, like y'all don't have to give me money. I appreciate it. I ain't gonna stop you. Y'all money is well appreciated. This is expensive. StreamYard is $45 to $50 to $89 a month. The camera, costs about $800. The internet, the thumbnails, me getting YouTube TV. Because like the only reason I got YouTube TV was so I can review this the day of. Because if I wait to review it the day after, it ain't happening. This is the best time. Because on Mondays after I get home from work, I ain't good to nobody. All right, so y'all, I want to thank you so much for joining the live today. Please like the video, y'all. I really appreciate it. It really helps me get into the algorithm, okay? And I want y'all to know that y'all are loved, that if nobody told you today that I love you, okay? All right. Know that y'all have purpose. Know that you guys are meant to be here. And I know that sometimes, like, with life, it can feel like you in this world alone. And I want you to look inward and find that love of self. Okay. And on top of that, drink water, treat yourself nice. And I think that's all I really got to say, to be honest. I love every single one of y'all. Me and like Shay, me and you don't never agree on anything, I'm starting to see. Because this ain't our first time getting into it. I believe me and you. I believe me and you disagreed on something else a few, I think a few weeks ago. But like, yeah, me and you do not like. We don't have to see eye to eye though. That's the thing. Like, y'all don't have to share my sentiments. Okay, you know, as long as everybody's having a good time and y'all feel the freedom to say about what y'all think about the show. Now, however, if you feel like telling me how the fuck you feel about my spirit and my genuineness, keep the shit to yourself because I don't care. Okay, bitch, you'll just get blocked along with your feelings. All right. But outside of that, y'all, I just want y'all to know that, like I said, y'all are loved. I love everybody who love me and such and such. All right. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful rest of y'all night. Go to sleep. Hope y'all have a beautiful rest of y'all week too. You know, I'm gonna try to see if I'm gonna see y'all again this week. You know, since that chasing panel is on hiatus until the reunion tapes. You know, I gotta see what else I can do. All right. But I love y'all. You guys have a beautiful rest of y'all night. I plan on doing the same. Okay, y'all. All right. Peace. Bye.